Oh my God.
Let me hug.
When you get lost, that's a moment.
It's important for all of us to understand the role that we play in each other's lives, whether we are strangers or ultimately friends.
How are you?
I love you.
You're awesome. You're awesome. My mom, you're awesome.
That's how you make a relationship last, folks.
You're probably rolling on this and you're gonna use it, like in the intro.
Can I have a bite of your burger?
There you go.
Do you like my sweater? Like, why wouldn't you want to wear this all the time? It's the little things that just make your day.
Hi, Donald John Trump.
This is more of a response to Charlottesville.
Punch a Nazi in the face!
No, get the...
This is the inauguration of the resistance.
Not everyone stayed peaceful.
Hey! This is library.
Lusa.
One of the most best memories ever.
There was no dry eyes, including myself.
I'm really sorry.
I'll never forget. Never forget.
There's no forgetting the things that we see.
The community really sticks together.
It's what keeps me going.
Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
There's still some beautiful people left on this planet.
That was inspiring. I mean, that sticks with you.
But at least we got each other.
Yeah, at least we got each other.
Because we've only got 2 minutes, remember, to shoot this entire moment.
Be our guest, be our guest.
There we go. Now we can start. So the USS Nimitz was coming back. Then I see this lady's sign.
Hey Lance, baby pooped, it's your turn.
And I'm like, oh, that is hilarious. So I figured that she was gonna be a good interview.
It's definitely his turn, long overdue.
Next thing I know, her son Cameron starts going crazy.
It's the best day ever for my dad to come home! Yeah!
And he just keeps saying the same thing over and over again. And I'm just thinking like, I need to put the mic on this kid now.
So awesome! Awesome! I don't know how much longer my yelling can keep up with my throat.
His back is to the camera. He turns around and he's just wide-eyed. Like,
He's getting closer! Yeah!
The reunion became reality.
and just that cool moment put a bow on that piece.
Well, initially, Hanford, we basically had no access to the site. And gradually over the years, they saw our stories and decided, hey, I want to tell my story. We're giving them a voice, which a lot of the workers felt like they never had a voice before.
I couldn't believe, that this was me. This inside my lungs, they're all inflamed and red.
In 2008, Ardal got sick with all the signs of the life-threatening illness, chronic beryllium disease, or CBD.
Hard to believe.
Very hard to believe.
One thing about Dave Ardal, whose wife was sitting there, and she was talking about how he doesn't want to live anymore, and he doesn't want to be here.
He doesn't want to live the rest of his life in total pain.
That was one of the most difficult 2 days we spent in their house. They invited us in.
Hi, honey. How's your day?
And she said, thanks for coming this whole way to tell Dave's story. She went into the kitchen, she came out with bread that she just baked. And this is a family that's broke because all their money's gone to his medical expenses. And then Dave walks in and he goes, see that barbecue out there? If you guys want to stick around, I'll make some steaks on the barbecue later. And they were just so gracious and humble. And then they just both opened up in front of my lens.
They live in their fancy houses, they do whatever, they go on their vacations. It doesn't affect them. But who holds them accountable? When does this end?
In that room with that family, there was no dry eyes, including myself.
This scene is like a slow-motion horror movie for the people who live here. Their future crashing into the Skagit River and washing away.
It was Thanksgiving, part of the job, you worked the holidays.
And we heard about a tiny street, really, just a dead-end road in this small town of Lyman that was potentially facing annihilation.
The hillside is literally falling into the river.
There goes another chunk.
I've never seen anything like it. Just ground flying into the river, like huge patches, boom, just right into the river.
It's pretty tough to watch.
Mark Harris is a city councilman in Lyman.
He was very emotional, and I think he was afraid to show his emotion on camera. He could barely make it through the interview without choking up. It took all of his power, and I left a lot of those moments breathe, because you can see him fighting back the tears, the emotion in his voice. He didn't ask us to stop. I think he really wanted the people and the officials that could do something about this to see what was happening to his property, to see how it was affecting him, and that was a pretty powerful moment.
The sadness that's come to punctuate the end of winter in the Stillaguamish Valley.
So back in March, Ted Land and I were assigned to cover the Oso bike ride to remember.
Whoa, everybody's here.
Jose Manguel wanted to share with this community something which has helped him heal.
He lost his son Jojo in the 2014 slide.
So every time I get sad, I get on the bike, and it's what keeps me going.
The route took riders 28 miles along State Route 530.
We knew the pivotal moment was going to be when he passed by the actual slide area where it happened. I heard him on the mic as he got within range, and I could actually hear him say, "I love you, buddy."
I love you, Bobby.
When I heard it as I was listening, that was quite the moment for me, actually. That was it was the moment for him too.
Yes. Just try to remember him as he was, a happy kid.
We make those connections quite often in the field, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing more rich than that feeling.
That's pretty cool that you can say, I was just the tiniest little part of those two meeting each other and becoming friends.
We are people who are going to be there with you.
People do tend to forget that there's somebody holding the camera, that there's a person. You know, we have families, we have hearts, we have souls.
We're as much a part of the community as they are.
And since it's home for me, I take a lot of pride in that.
And I've realized that it's the people and the moments that we have with them that are the most important things that we can share with our audience.
Yeah, I'd love to be married. I'd love to do this in quote unquote the right way.
Earlier this year we had a story, Heather Graff and I did, where we followed this woman who she was having a baby.
I think it's a big turning point in society that this is becoming more and more common.
Lisa was a choice mom, so she's doing this all on her own by picking a donor, but we got to be there with her when she was in labor. It took Lisa more than 33 hours to get that baby out, and Heather and I had to come back and forth like 3 different times.
Push, push, push. So how was childbirth for Lisa?
So I don't know if you know, but apparently labor is hard.
Come on, baby. It was special.
A family that's finally complete.
I cried, of course.
It was so cool for Heather and I to be there with Lisa in such a big moment and to meet her daughter, Sybil.
There's no denying a bond between a boy and his dog.
He's really friendly.
Me and Greg Copeland did a story about little Roman.
Oh, there we go.
Who is 6 years old and wanted to find a home for this dog legend.
That's a sticker spot.
With kids, you never know what you're going to get.
Come here. You're crazy. He's a crazy dog.
Oh, that was such a fun story, and we'll remember random things like when we pulled up to the Humane Society, a random cat jumped in our car and was like walking around in the back of the car, and I was like, what do we do? And Greg's like, I don't know. We were taking pictures of this cat that was like back where my tripod goes, and it took us a few minutes to get it out.
Yeah, we gotta give him a home sooner or later.
I feel like that whole day will always kind of be remembered as this fun, quirky, really good turnout of a day.
They found Eeyore laying in the alley, and now the next couple of minutes are crucial.
We were in the Tacoma Bureau offices, and I happened to be walking through the lobby near the elevator, and a couple guys were in there, which looked like they had an animal.
You can't see it yet, but in this box is a baby peregrine falcon
that had fallen to the streets from the nest box that was located on the 19th floor of the building.
I'm gonna open this up, open the window, open the back.
These guys are just part of the community and kind of stepped up to do it on a volunteer basis. They opened it up quickly, they got the youngster back in there, and it was mission accomplished.
I was fortunate enough to be allowed into the home of an officer who was shot in the head a year ago.
Even after all these therapies and after all of the time that has gone by, it's very difficult.
He shared with us that he compared his life a little bit to the movie It's a Wonderful Life.
Please, God, something's the matter with Daddy.
And it happened to be on.
Please, God, let me live again.
And what was amazing is to shoot the interview with him and him watching the movie, knowing that he was blind. And to see his reaction and the way he feels about his situation a year later was just over the top.
Please, God.
He shared a very intimate moment with us and allowed us to share that with everybody else. And that's what makes it special, is when you make contact with a person and allow someone to share something that personal.
Happy New Year to you! In jail, going home, I'm waiting for you.
I just have to say, December 18th will stick with my mind because this is one thing where everyone who rode the train was given one of these. And now it's, I say I'm gonna hold on to it with my life because I got off the train and lived.
Chris Daniels and I, we had the great opportunity to actually go to the Dominican Republic.
Hello!
The biggest export of the Dominican Republic, which is not goats, but baseball. We followed Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz because they're both Dominicans, just to see how different, we live compared to them. It was an eye-opener.
A pasear.
We have everything available to us. For those young kids, opportunities are limited. All of a sudden I hear all this commotion going on. We found out later it was a rap battle. It was just amazing, and it was like a controlled chaos. And it was, one of the best moments that we ever had there in the DR.
I saw a man on the ground, and there were two other medics running with me, and we saw he was, covered in blood.
Things had been peaceful all day long until we got to UW campus. I was sent there because it was starting to get a little rowdy. Milo Yiannopoulos, I believe that's how you say his name, one of the champions of the alt-right movement, was speaking there, so obviously that doesn't go over well. And all of a sudden I heard gunshots, and I couldn't believe it. And it happened probably 15 feet from where I was standing. My first instinct was to go towards the crowd, towards the gunshot. I don't know why. Don't tell my wife that. And obviously this is a different scenario because I'm shooting still photos, but you got to get the shot, right? As crazy as it feels sometimes. And I did. What an experience, I think.
You heard rat-a-tat-tat-tat, and then it would stop. People would get up and run. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat, people would drop, get up and run.
And in that moment, I knew this is going to be really, really bad. Got a call around 3 a.m. Can you get to the airport, get to Vegas? One of the stories that sticks with me is from a couple up near Bellingham.
It was absolutely crazy.
And when the shooting happened, the two of them ducked for cover under some benches, like stadium seating, and just held each other while for several minutes Bullets were fired all around them into the crowd. They told me they dialed their daughter back home in Washington State to tell her, there's a shooting going on and we just want to let you know that we love you.
The worst ever. I don't ever want to have to do that again. Heartbreaking. Yep. Absolutely heartbreaking.
They went up to a woman who had been very badly injured and they just held her for a few minutes trying to help her, and she died there in their arms. And they walked away from the scene changed forever because of that.
I pray for all of them because it's tough. It's tough on us who survived. I can't imagine what it's like for the families of people who died.
Morning of the 18th. All right. Alex Rozier and I were heading out on a train ride.
New 6 a.m. train. Jim, what do you think?
Smooth ride.
Smooth ride? We're almost here.
It was just an easy morning. It was a relaxed morning. We were just having fun on a train.
I'm supposed to get off in Tacoma, but I'm in the cafeteria, Jake and Joyce. I don't know if I'm getting off yet. I'll let you know.
Interviewed one gentleman, Rudy, live on air in the morning. He agreed to it. 81-year-old man, just very fun and just very lively guy. And just you couldn't help but smile just talking to him.
But everything's fine. I prefer riding the train than sitting on the freeway.
Tacoma came along and we got off the train and we had to tape one more thing for Alex.
Here you're looking at that train.
As we were taping, we watched the train leaving the station. And little did we know that 15 or 18 miles down the tracks, it was going to be derailed.
You're hearing something about a train derailment?
I'm not only hearing a train derailment, I am seeing...
And I said, I have to see the picture. I said, show me the picture. And he showed me on his phone, and I could see the train dangling off. It just hit me in the gut like it's, like a sledgehammer.
We were on this exact train. We are sitting in traffic right now, trying to get to this scene.
And the whole time I'm just thinking about what could have happened. If we had stayed on that train to the next stop, because it didn't make it to the next stop.
Right around Christmas just breaks my heart.
And I do want to have our photojournalist Jim Scott show what we are looking at because it is just a shocking sight here.
We spent the morning just doing everything we could, just keep focused, getting our interviews, getting whatever information we get, doing our jobs.
At this point, we're just told there's multiple fatalities.
We kept thinking about Rudy. Both Alex and I were thinking about Rudy because he's just such a nice guy, and we don't know what happened at car 3. Didn't know what happened to Rudy, or the 2 young girls, or the other gentleman that was sitting in front of Rudy. No idea. We talked with them. No idea what happened to them.
So many of the people that we were speaking with all morning long are likely on this train.
Then we get a call that Alex has been waiting for. We got Rudy's family called out to him and got a message to him that Rudy was okay. He had 2 broken vertebrae, but Rudy is okay. The next morning, 24 hours after we originally had Rudy on air, we had him on air live again, and this time in a lot different condition.
Rudy is sitting right next to me here at a hospital bed in Olympia.
Well, I decided to take a little nap, a short 30-minute nap, and next thing you knew, I was flying all over the train.
How are you doing as you wake up today in the hospital here in Olympia?
They treat me so well, the medication takes away the pain. I'm fine.
Rudy, you have 2 broken vertebrae. I'm good. Wow. Hey, more people need to be more like Rudy. I mean, seriously, the guy, his personality is just a can-do spirit. It's just amazing. I mean, just amazing to me. From the start of all this, the first one, I didn't get a chance to even go home and hug my wife, hug my kid. I wanted to. I couldn't let the people down on that train. I couldn't not tell their story. I could not be there for them because they needed their story told. I just have to say, December 18th will stick with my mind because this is one thing everyone who rode the train was given one of these. And now it's, I say I'm going to hold on to it with my life because I got off the train and lived.
I did this story with Amy Moreno about this little kid who fell into a fire pit and burned, half of his face and his fingers.
Now you're a real trooper. Trooper Shane.
They would call him Trooper Shane in the hospital room.
Yeah, it's my badge, but I'm letting you use it because you're my partner, right?
Yeah.
He's just the sort of patient that the nurses don't want to let go.
But he had this energy to him that was just really awesome, that he was just running around, grabbing my hand, walking me through the hospital.
The kid's the bad guy.
Apparently I'm the bad guy. Going into other people's hospital rooms, dressed as a state patrol.
Did you already take a picture?
I'm always gonna remember that story because if Shane can get through such a tragic event, I think we're all gonna be okay.
Not just a state trooper, but in life he's a trooper.
All right, now.
What can we do to make this pep rally even more memorable?
We are going to introduce you to a brand new segment here on King 5 Mornings.
And I went up to the head administrator and I said, hey, we have an engineer who's been at King 5 for 42 years. I want him to get picked up by the students and floated across the thing. And he's like, yeah, we can do that. And I was like, oh yeah.
It's called Crowd Surfing with Jeff. He works hard every morning.
As he gets in my camera shot, he turns to me and he does the Queen Anne wave.
He's certainly reaching new heights.
After we do that crowd surfing that morning, I text Chris Egan.
Leave it to Doug to call him out and challenge him.
I want you to top Jeff. I want you crowd surfing at the big game. He texts me back and says, I don't imitate. He doesn't do it that week, but the next week, guess who imitated us? Egan.
Egan's not one to shy away from a challenge. He'll do whatever and have some fun along the way, whether it's running an obstacle course against a couple of little kids or hip hop dancing.
All right, Paul. I'm down.
In the video, he clearly disappears out of my sight in the camera.
I'm down.
And he kept talking. He rallied, man. He kept going.
I'm up.
He was down briefly, and then he reappeared, and all was good. Until it was over, and he said, yeah, I banged my head pretty good on that.
Yes, he was okay. It was hilarious.
I'm alive. Back to you, buddy.
Yummy.
I was in Tacoma for a birthday party for a 2-year-old who wasn't supposed to be here.
Birthday to you.
It was the youngest premature birth in Tacoma Hospital, born at 23 weeks old.
We were there for 141 days, and we walked out those doors so proud because, you know, they said he wasn't going to make it.
And I got to like participate with the family, and I kind of forgot I was working after a while. I'm not going to lie, I was hanging out and drinking soda, and they didn't want me to leave. They were upset I had to leave because we were having so much fun.
Happy birthday!
There is so much good in just the day-to-day of my job that I see that keeps me coming back.
Happy birthday to you.
Hey, Jake.
Just way cooler than I thought it was going to be, honestly.
Why I do what I do.
Oh, I got it.
Why journalism?
It shows the humanity.
I love telling stories.
Everybody's connected one way or another.
Can't ask more than that.
We're all Northwesterners.
It's a responsibility and it's an opportunity.
It helps you relate to one another.
So what I think is next?
I'd like to say maybe a Mariners World Series or a Coug Rose Bowl, but I don't know. You dry your gear out, dry your clothes off, and you get ready for it tomorrow.
We still need to communicate with our audience what's going on in our community.
When people ask, you know, why do you come? For them. I came for you.
Why do this? Because I love it.